Okay, so this isn't our normal style video, and this is not going to be nearly as polished. I needed to get this out right now. So at the correspondents' dinner tonight, there were shots fired. There were 5 to 8 shots fired, according to CNN and CNBC. At Donald Trump was pulled away, and it seems like he's alive for now. We're going to talk about this, and we're going to talk about his response. We're going to look at CNN's videos, and we're going to look at 2 different videos that we have of the event. Sorry this isn't nearly as polished as usual. I needed to get this out as soon as possible. Hopefully, it's going to be out by 10:50. So, okay, let's get right into it. Here's normally where I'd ask you to like and subscribe to support independent media, but right now we're talking about something a little bit more serious that we need to get out here quickly. So please do that, but let's do this. All right, to start off, we're going to watch this 2-minute long clip from the AP. Yeah. All right, so from watching that clip, I do think that Trump is okay. There was about 20 seconds between when we heard all whatever shots those were and when we saw them pull him away. So I think he is fine. I do hope that everybody at this event was fine, except for the shooter. I hope he's in custody or dead. But nobody deserves to be shot at. Not Trump, not Melania, not anybody there deserves to die, okay? I just want to make that clear. Political violence is not okay no matter what. And we do not condone this action whatsoever, but it does seem like he's okay. We're going to watch another clip from CNN now about it, so let's do that too. So we're going to read this and then look at the clip from CNN. So it says, President Donald Trump was swiftly escorted off the stage by a Secret Service after possible shots were fired at the White House Correspondents' Dinner in Washington, D.C. on Saturday. Vice President J.D. Vance and members of Trump's cabinet were also in attendance were rushed out. A source tells CNN that Trump is safe, while 2 sources said that Vance is safely out of the dinner. According to the administration official, cabinet members are okay as well. Several Secret Service agents yelled shots fired during the event, which was being held at the Washington Hilton, according to pool reports. Secret Service later said in a post on X that 1 person is in custody. We'll look at that. And Trump is in a secure location and has told officials he intends to return to the dinner, according to a senior administration official. Trump took to Truth Social to share that a shooter has been apprehended and applauded Secret Service and law enforcement officers for acting quickly and bravely. So he says, quote, I've recommended that we, quote, let the show go on, but will be entirely guided by law enforcement. They will make a decision shortly, Trump wrote in a post. Regardless of that decision, the evening will be much different than planned, and just plain, we'll have to do it again. CNN's Wolf Blitzer was, quote, a few feet away from a gunman as he started shooting, he said on air. Quote, all of a sudden, a guy had a weapon. It was very, very serious weapon. It starts shooting, and I happened to be a few feet away from him as he was shooting, Blitzer said. I'm not sure how to pronounce that name, but Weijia Zhang, president of the White House Correspondents Association, which hosts the dinner, said the program will resume momentarily. I mean, that's just kind of crazy that that's so normalized, but whatever. I guess I'm not an expert. Quote, I know everyone wants as much detail as possible, and right now we just don't have that, Zhang told the attendees, adding, please just be patient as we figure this out. As we figure out how much time it will be, it shouldn't be that much longer. Now, this is a breaking study, and it will be continued. I'm now looking at Donald Trump's Truth Social. He's posted 2 things. Number 1, he said, quite an evening in D.C. Secret Service and law enforcement did a fantastic job. They acted quickly and bravely. The shooter has been apprehended, and I have recommended that we, quote, let the show go on, but it will be entirely guided by law enforcement. They will make a decision shortly. Regardless of that decision, the evening will be much more different than we planned, and we'll just plain have to do it again, President Donald J. Trump. That was his first tweet. We already talked about that. But his most recent tweet was 15 minutes ago, and we are going to talk about this. this. So he says, law enforcement has requested that we leave the premises consistent with patrol, which we will do immediately. I will be giving a press conference in 30 minutes from the White House press briefing room. The First Lady, plus the Vice President, and all cabinet members are in perfect condition. We will be speaking to you in half an hour. I have spoken with all the representatives in charge of the event, and we will be scheduling within 30 days. President Donald J. Trump. So it does sound like the event is off. As of 20 minutes ago, the event seems to be off. I'm going to start editing this video, and then in 15 minutes from now, I will be going over that, and we will be talking about it still in this video. Stick around. It'll be only a couple seconds for you. All right, I'll see you in a sec. Okay, he's coming onto the stage right now. We're going to watch this.
Well, thank you very much. That was very unexpected, but incredibly acted upon by Secret Service and law enforcement. And this was an event dedicated to freedom of speech that was supposed to bring together members of both parties with members of the press. And in a certain way it did, because the fact that they just unified. I saw a room that was just totally unified. It was in one way very beautiful, a very beautiful thing to see. A man charged a security checkpoint armed with multiple weapons, and he was taken down by some very brave members of Secret Service, and they acted very quickly and have just released, for purposes of transparency, clarity. I've ordered it to be put out. You probably have it by now. Put out on Truth and put out on many of the platforms. A tape showing the violence of this thug that attacked our Constitution, and also showing how quickly Secret Service and law enforcement acted on our country's behalf. Really did a great job. One officer was shot, but saved by the fact that he was wearing obviously a very good bulletproof vest. He was shot from very close distance with a very powerful gun, and the vest did the job. I just spoke to the officer, and he's doing great. He's in great shape. He is has very high spirits, and we told him we love him and respect him, and he's a very proud guy. He's very proud of what he does, Secret Service agent. And we looked at all of the conditions that took place tonight, and I will say, you know, it's not a particularly secure building, and I didn't want to say this, but this is why we have to have all of the attributes of what we're planning at the White House. It's actually a larger room, and it's much more secure. It's drone-proof, it's bulletproof glass. We need the ballroom. That's why Secret Service, that's why the military are demanding it. They've wanted the ballroom for 150 years for lots of different reasons, but today's a little bit different, because today we need levels of security that probably nobody's ever seen before. But everyone owes a tremendous debt of gratitude to the courage of law enforcement. The law enforcement, and working with the D.C. police, and we just spoke with the mayor, and when we're finished, the police chief is going to take over and discuss it also from their viewpoint. But they also performed exactly as they were supposed to, and you see the attacker in different positions, but you also see the attacker totally subdued and under control. So as you know, this is not the first time in the past couple of years that our republic has been attacked by a would-be assassin who sought to kill. In Butler, Pennsylvania, less than 2 years ago, you all know that story, and in Palm Beach, Florida, a few months after that, we came close. We really had, again, we had some great work done by law enforcement. But in light of this evening's events, I ask that all Americans recommit with their hearts in resolving our difference peacefully. We have to resolve our differences. I will say, you had Republicans, Democrats, independents, conservatives, liberals, and progressives. Those words are interchangeable, perhaps, but maybe they're not. But yet everybody in that room, big crowd, record-setting crowd. There was a record-setting group of people, and there was a tremendous amount of love and coming together. I watched I watched, and I was very, very impressed by that. But we were, First Lady and I were taken very well care of, very quickly rushed off the stage. Vice President J.D. Vance, who's here, was likewise beautifully done. He was just saying how quickly everybody acted, law enforcement, Secret Service in particular in this case, but law enforcement. Marco had the same thing. Pete was there. Pete didn't want any help. He didn't want anybody to help him. He doesn't want anybody to help him, but he did get some, didn't you? And I think you also said that it was very impressive. So with that, I'd like to ask Todd Blanche to come up, say a few words, and tell you it's already underway. The man has been captured. They're going to his apartment. I guess he lives in California. And he's a sick person, a very sick person. And we don't want things like this to happen. I think it's very important that I say, though, and I told the representatives of the evening, they did such a beautiful job. It was such a beautiful evening. And again, they're talking about free speech in our Constitution. That's what it's all about, not just White House correspondents. It was really based on free speech in our Constitution. But I said very importantly that we'll do it again within the next 30 days, and we'll make it bigger and better and even nicer. So I just want to thank everybody that was involved. I also want to thank the press, the media. You've been very responsible in your coverage. I will say I've been seeing what's been out, and you've been very responsible. So Todd Blanche, I'd like to say a few words, and then we're going to have cash. And then you're going to go on. We can ask, I guess we can take a couple of questions. I want to thank the First Lady that was a rather traumatic experience for her. There was a lot of action taking place up there very quickly. But again, the response time was really incredible. And we're going to reschedule. We're going to do it again. We're not going to let anybody take over our society. We're not going to cancel things out because we can't do that. We wanted to stay tonight. I will tell you, I fought like hell to stay. But it was protocol. They said, please, sir, because they didn't know there was a lot of action going on, and they didn't know could there be probably a lone shooter, but we'll find out. We'll find out very quickly. They have it very well under control. So I want to thank everybody very much. And Todd Blanche, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Tonight you saw the very worst and the very best of this country. You saw the very worst by the actions of that coward that the President just talked about. But you also saw the very best because you saw law enforcement do exactly what they're supposed to do. And you'll see the videos come out, I expect, very shortly, and you'll see law enforcement do exactly what we want them to do. And so I echo what President Trump just said, that we are extraordinarily grateful and appreciative of the men and women of law enforcement that did their jobs tonight, including one who was injured. This investigation is ongoing. I expect you will see charges filed shortly. The charges should be self-evident, given the conduct, but as you'll hear, there will be multiple charges surrounding the shooting, around the possession of firearms, and anything else that we can get on this guy. The investigation is obviously ongoing and just started. There is federal law enforcement already working on search warrants and doing their job, and I don't want to get ahead of them and don't want to get ahead of the work that they're doing even as we speak. Director Patel and I were just on the crime scene a short while ago, and everybody in this room should rest assured that the Metropolitan Police Department, the FBI, Secret Service, everybody's on the scene doing their job. I know that the police chief is going to give an update from the scene as soon as we're finished here, and I obviously will lead the details of what they have learned to him. But in the meantime, I just want to thank everybody in this room for the courage. And I want to thank President Trump for his words, and I promise you, justice will be served. Thank you. Director Patel.
Thank you, General. Thank you, Mr. President. The President's absolutely right. You saw the best resolve of American law enforcement because you, Mr. President, inspire them 24/7, 365. You give them the resources that they need, and they know that you have their back. And that is a changing dynamic in this country, and that's why you saw brave Secret Service agents respond immediately, swiftly, subdue and take down the suspect, and safeguard the lives of thousands of individuals at that hotel. Thanks to our interagency partnership with the Department of Homeland Security and the Metropolitan Police Department, the FBI was rapidly deployed onto the scene, took over the evidence response unit, is examining.
Okay. I think that's all we're going to look at of what Donald Trump had to say. I think it's pretty interesting. You know, I do appreciate what he said about uniting people, but I also will say that him saying this was an attack on free speech during the biggest free speech event of the year is just insane. I mean, he was clearly fully intending on attacking free speech tonight, and I mean that's what he's been doing for the past 14 months. So for him to say that like this was an attack on his right to free speech is just crazy. But yeah, so tell me what you guys think of that in the comments, and we'll be talking more about this tomorrow as more details come out. Subscribe to stay up to date, and on tomorrow's show we'll be analyzing this a lot deeper. Again, sorry this is kind of rushed, but we had to get this out there. All right, see ya.